for joining me. I'm Matt, and this is the Black Hat Bushcraft channel. Today I'm out doing a little hiking in one of my favorite areas of woods, and I'm hoping to do a little camp cooking. And what I want to prepare is bannock. Bannock is something that a lot of you are probably familiar with, just a traditional type of bread, which a lot of people in bushcraft like to prepare in camp. There's so many different recipes for bannock. You can go with berries, raisins, different types of seasoning. You can cook it many different ways, whether you cook it directly in your coals, you can cook it in a pan, or you can roast it or bake it on a stick, which is the method I'm going to try to use today. But anyway, bannock is a tasty, nice warm treat when you're out in the woods. First thing today, I've got to get a fire going, and that's going to be a real challenge because it's been raining close to 24 hours in my area. Prior to that, we had snow and ice, which is actually still in the process of melting. There's still some patches and stuff around. So the ground, if I just press down, water just seeps up. So everything is soaked. Should be a fun task to try to get fire going today. But if we can do that, we'll be cooking bannock here in just a little bit. So hang with me. Well, despite the wet conditions, it looks like we got a good fire going here. As soon as this cools down a little bit and I get a good bed of coals below it, I will start cooking that bannock, I promise. Now that I've got my fire squared away real good, I need to get my stick ready to cook with. I just want to skin the bark off of this, which is actually a piece of tulip tree, or tulip poplar. I want to get the bark off. I don't want that to flavor in any way my bannock. Tell you what, it's in the 40s out here right now, which is not too cold. Next to this fire, it feels like July. It is mighty warm at this point. And the bark off this tulip tree would be fantastic as fire starter. And actually I used a little bit of that when I got this fire going a while ago. A little knot there, being persistent. And this don't have to be perfect. I just want to get below the bark. Make sure I get all of that away from my bannock. Every bit of that stringy stuff coming off of there is fantastic for fire starting. And actually, I'm just cooking bannock for one, so it's a small batch. So it won't take a whole lot of space on the stick. Alright, so there we go. What I'm going to do is get the stick warm and just make sure I burn off anything in case there were any germs, bacteria, or anything. This will ensure that they're plenty gone. Alright, looks good. Let's get the bannock out. What I got here is my bannock, and it's just been mixed up and wrapped in wax paper. What I'll do is down in the information area here on the video, I'll put exactly what the recipe is that I used. But on a day hike like today, I prefer to just go ahead and mix it up. That way I don't have to worry about putting water and oil and all that stuff in my bannock out in the woods. A little bit of wax paper tour. And this is what it looks like. It's just mixed up into what looks sort of like Play-Doh. Right, and all I'm going to do with this bannock is I'm going to roll it up, make it into like a snake look shape, and with that I'll be able to wrap it around the stick. And the good thing about carrying this in aluminum foil is I've got that piece of aluminum foil that I can lay this down on as I get it ready. Okay, and so you can see what it looks like here. Just kind of made it into a roll. And that's it. I'm going to get my stick and we'll put this on there. Alright, let's get our bannock prepared so we can cook. It's just a matter of wrapping this around. It's not too complicated. Doesn't have to be perfect either. I'm not too picky about that. Just want it to taste good. The main thing with cooking bannock this way is to try not to burn it. My fire's still very hot over there, so I may wait a minute. But this is what it looks like. I just got the ends tucked on both ends of the bannock. And hopefully I'll be able to cook this up and not burn it. Now, the last thing I need to do to prepare my bannock is inside my cook kit here, I have some spices. And the one that I'm going to be using for this is cinnamon and some sugar. So just a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on the outside of this bannock should stick just fine. And it should taste delicious. Love the smell of fresh cinnamon. Okay, and let's just put a little sugar on it too. Alright, so I've got my bannock coated with cinnamon and sugar. It's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to this snack. So I'm going to get it over the fire and let's get it cooking. Okay, so I've got my bannock here positioned in front of my fire. And I've chosen to put it in front of the fire. That way I can get heat distributed evenly across the whole thing, as opposed to just cooking it from the end and this part getting burnt and that part not being done. So I think that's going to cook a little bit more even. I've just got it propped here on the Y stick, but as the baking process occurs and this gets closer to finished, I'll show you how it looks. All right, well, the bannock is still cooking. It is over halfway done, I would say. It's puffed up quite a bit, and when I tap the outside edges, it's a little bit firm. I'm just trying to cook it slow so I don't burn it. That's my main concern. I'd rather take my time and have some good bannock to show for all this effort. So I'll show you once again when it's finished cooking at this point. All right, well, I think it's going to be time to eat some bannock. It looks like it's pretty done to me. Let's break into this and see what it looks like. Man, that looks good. Cooked perfect. All the way through to the center. It's not doughy. See, the reason it's so good is because I've been looking at it for probably 30 minutes or better. I imagine probably more than that. Smelling the smoke. It's good. As you know, bannock is such a simple thing to make. You just mix up the ingredients. You can bring the ingredients with you out into the woods, mix it up in a Ziploc bag, or you can do like I did and just have it pre-done, and then prep it on the stick or in your pan or whatever you want. So it's a very flexible thing. It's something that you can do the way you want to do it, but it's going to be rewarding because bannock is good stuff. I appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. I'll be back very soon again with another video out in the woods. Until the next time, I hope you're doing well. God bless you and take care.